Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a huge thing here called Bridge or Bust. Now, this is made from a company called Upper Story, and I'm very familiar with their products. They did a very popular thing called Turing Tumble, which was a game that had marbles fall down, and it taught you about programming. And then Spintronics, which had gears, which taught you about, well, gears and engineering and circuits and things like that. Well, the new one is Bridge or Bust, which teaches you how to build a bridge with a bunch of puzzles, a huge box, and a bunch of bridge pieces inside. So I've messed with this and done it with my son, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what's inside the box, and we'll be right back. So there is a lot in this box. And at the first time when you play this, you're going to have to take everything apart and build it piece by piece, including this base here. But you have a lot of girders that you're going to be building together. And these little gray pieces you have to snap on every single girder. All of these. You have to build these. You have to build some bridges. There's little weights that are going to be put on. You have to build these trusses here. There's a lot going on, and every single one of these needs to be snapped into position. But once they're all together, then you don't have to worry about that, and everything fits very nicely in here. The way the game plays, or the puzzle in a sense, is it goes through and it's about dogs. And these dogs don't know anything about, this is all the pieces you got to put together at the beginning, which took about an hour, 90 minutes. And it has a comic about these dogs trying to build a bridge. And then this is the main board where you'll be going through your different missions, and as you finish a mission, you'll pull it down to show that the bridge has been built. And then when you get to different spots, you can branch off and go to various spots to continue on the mission. Each of these bridges will show you some instructions on how things work. It will show you a bridge. The first ones are kind of tutorials, but essentially what they're going to do is they're going to give you a bridge like this. You will build it, but you need to make it so that the bridge stays up. And then you're going to take this truck here, this wind-up truck, and you'll run it across the bridge, and if the bridge stays up, you've succeeded. At the back of the book here, there are answers to all the different bridges, although if you find one that's not an answer key, you also can, it works. You've made a successful bridge. So let's take a look at how some of these things work. First of all, you have the base here, which comes with this piece, which allows you to make it as long as you need to. The bridge might be a certain length, so this piece here, and then it will kind of just snap into the hole. You lift it up, and then once the hole is there, it stays down, and the whole thing holds together. Then you have these towers, and at the bottom of them, they have these little gray pieces that you can press, and they just fit on these beams here. So you have these nodes, they're called, and you have more nodes that you'll build over the course of the game. But the main feature of this game are these right here. What these are wooden beams. There's different lengths that you can have. I'm showing you the middle length, but there's also a short and a long length. But they're not set in stone, by which I mean you attach them on here. They fit in like this, and they stay on pretty much. And then these parts, again, will clip onto these beams. Sorry, I'm holding it with just one hand. You'll clip them on the beam here. And then you'll use this here to lengthen or make them longer. It's up to you. And so you're going to try to find the right length and the right angles to put all these. I might decide to put them here and hold it up and connect to another beam. So I have to figure out how I'm going to do that. And then these bridges, this is what the truck will move over exactly, will fit on top of the different nodes, and the truck will move over there. But if at any point there's too much weight, things can collapse. You can see how that swings down. So I need to have another one, but I can't just go across, especially when there's no tower in the middle. So you learn how to build suspension bridges and put these different things at different spots. Really, that's kind of the game. There's also a boat that has a sail on it. There's two different sails that you can have on this boat. And that boat will often say you need to be able to sail that boat under the bridge at a certain spot. So that means the bridge needs to go up and over, because if this boat hits it, it will also not work. So you're going to spend some time building a bridge. So the first time you build this bridge, you'll say, okay, well, you build the tower to tower, and then they show you, hey, if you build these things right here, that boat's going to go underneath. This is a very simple bridge. But as it gets longer and longer, you might build a bridge that needs to go up, but it might collapse in the middle. So are there other things that you're going to have to do? And it walks you through each of these. This is too long. This is too weak. These things won't hold together. They hold together very strongly, this piece itself, but you can see that if I hold like that, it's just going to fall down. So you need to figure this out. There is enough give on these that you'll be able to turn these in and make them longer or shorter. And what I'm saying may not make a lot of sense. So a lot of it you're just going to have to see as you play through, attaching these beams to different spots. But that is the game, and they get harder and harder. I would say they're pretty tricky at the beginning, but like look at this one here. That's a really long way you have to go across. And somehow you have a boat coming through, and somehow you're not allowed to attach anything to these spots either. So you have to make something above that's holding it into place. Well, how does that work? Well, if you're an engineer, you'll know that. If you're not, well, that's why this game exists. So there's a little bit to talk about here. Upper Story likes to teach through comic, and here you just have a bunch of dogs building bridges. Okay, my son, he's getting older, I guess. He was like, this comic is weird, but he really enjoyed the bridge building part. Now, like I said, there's a bit of setup at the beginning. It takes a while to build all these pieces. And there's a bit of finagling with this one to learn how those beams come across. You have to, once you figure that out, that moving the dials and you're stretching them out and you're attaching things, it's not clip, clip, clip. There's a little bit of, finesse at putting it together. It's big, though. I wonder if it's too big. So I was talking to someone about this, and I wondered, this is a gigantic box, and it's bigger than Turing Temple and Spintronics are. Well, Spintronics was in 2 boxes, so it's probably the same size if you include both those boxes. But I wondered, if the bridge was, say, 75% as big as this, would it still work? And then I thought, but then it might be harder moving the little pieces around, and perhaps the bridge would be much sturdier as it gets smaller. If you want the actual idea of building a bridge, then you need it to be bigger. But it certainly makes a statement. Now, this is not a game. This is a puzzle of sorts, but it's a good activity to do your kids, and I'm such a huge fan of things like this. This one teaches you how bridges work. Why do suspension bridges work? Why do you need trusses? Why can't you just build a bridge across like this? What are arches? There's all these different aspects about bridges that I don't know a whole lot about, but this teaches you. This walks you through step by step, and you get to each bridge and you think, okay, so why does this work? And it's a lot. I see this on apps all the time about building bridges, but this shows you the actual physics. And when you're done and you wind up the car and it runs across the bridge and it succeeds, you feel the joy of a job well done. Now, of the 3 things they've done so far, my favorite is still Turing Temple because I love programming and I love seeing the marbles fall down. And Spintronics has the gears and stuff. This one is the most involved work, like putting things together. But some people are going to really like it. If you like construction toys, like Lego bricks or what have you, or the old Constructs, that's what this reminds me of. I think this will work incredibly well for families. I think the box is big and it's a pricey thing, so that's going to turn some people off. But if I was a teacher, I would have this in my classroom along with the other ones. I would have everything from this company in my classroom in the back because this is something I want kids to mess with. When we had no electronics night, we have that every week at my house. This is something me and my son will pull out and we'll mess with this because we're building something together and we think about it. Critical thinking, there's just so much good for this. So if you're educational, homeschool, a teacher, or just want something that your kids will do that teaches them, then Bridge or Bust is worth it. Again, considering the price, considering how big it is. But honestly, this is better than a lot of video games, right? Same cost as a couple video games. And this is something that I think that you could pass on and will last for years. So check it out, Bridge or Bust. I give it an 8 out of 10. I'm Tom Vasel, and we'll see you all next time. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.